Eli Rouimi here, going to go and study right now the book I'm in Your Hands by Rav Shalom Arush. We are still in the first chapter. This is the third lesson out of the first chapter that we're going to go through for this wonderful book talking about Bitachon. So we already introduced the concept of Bitachon. We explained exactly what it's all about and how we can start to implement it into our lives and how crucial it is in order for us to make a living, for us to live our life day to day. And, now we're going to talk about security. A lot of us feel that in order for us to feel secure, we need cameras, we need security systems, we need cybersecurity, we need, guns, whatever it is, in order to protect ourselves from the scary world we live in. We're being threatened from all sides in many situations. And unfortunately, man places security in the wrong place. He might think that, I have 911 anytime I'm in trouble, I could just call and that's it. But really what the essence here we're trying to place and information we're trying to put through is that we have to trust in Hashem as security. Of course, we have to do our part. You can't be a man that's drowning and saying, somebody throws him a lifeline, throws him a buoy, and he says, hey, I'm saving you. And he's, no, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna ignore that. I don't need it. God is gonna save me. No, that's being silly. That's not doing your hishtadlut. But, being in such a situation where you're drowning and now you're praying that Hashem is gonna save you and Hashem is there for you. That's what we need to be doing. And so we should not put our trust in these weapons or these tools that, that we think are going to help us save us, but really in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And, the book is mentioning that, there's for example, we have all these wars right now that are unfortunately going on in the world. And, a lot of people think, it's because we have the best technology. It's because, by chance that this rocket didn't land in this place. No, at the end of the day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem is guiding each of one of those missiles in every direction. And that's what's giving us the real security, especially that today we see that it doesn't make any sense. We're living in a world where, the country is so small like Israel is being protected, by hundreds and thousands of rockets. It just doesn't make any sense. And this is evidence that Hashem is protecting us in such situations. And you could see that even the rockets that miss, they hit certain targets that at that point in time, or it could be a school that was closed that day, for example. So the Malbim teaches us that the greater bitachon is, the more protection you bring upon yourself. So bitachon is the key to have full protection in your body, in your soul, in your ways, in your way of life, is to protect yourself from all evil. And that brings you this global security. So you absolutely have to have bitachon in order to have your safety. And so Rav Shalom Arush explains here that your mission is that you have to have these compelling reasons to have nonstop trust in Hashem. And you might think that having trust in Hashem is only for the most pious of scholars, of Torah scholars, for example. But it's wrong. No. If somebody is a pious leader and is, a big Tamid Chacham, if he doesn't have bitachon, it's a big mistake. The Vilna Gaon writes in his commentary in the Book of Proverbs an amazing statement that leaves no room for error. He writes, the sole purpose Hashem gave the Torah to the Jewish people is for them to place their bitachon in Him. For the main thing is to have complete bitachon in Hashem, which encompasses all of these commandments. And another place, Vilna Gaon says that without bitachon, someone loses all of their Torah learning. So it doesn't matter how big of a Tamid Chacham, it doesn't matter how big of a sage you are, if you're learning and you're not having trust in Hashem, you're losing it all. And Vilna Gaon explains this, like we had just mentioned earlier, that he is a shield to all those who place trust in him. And the rule isn't only for physical matter, it's also worth applying for spiritual as well. And having bitachon, trust in Hashem, helps us to protect us from transgressing the Torah. And so this should be your primary shield. And the reason why you're in this world is to merit this emunah and bitachon. And like we said earlier, that you cannot have, it's Rabbeinu Bechai that says that, you cannot have bitachon without having emunah. So the fruit doesn't come without the trees. Bitachon is the main rule of the Torah. It's becoming more clear this is the aspiration and the goal that should be in each and every one of us, whether we're young or old, it doesn't matter. You have to have this in order to complete your mission in life. And Rabbi Aaron Rota wrote in his book, Shomrei Amunim, he summarizes this in a very simple way. He writes that, know that there is almost nothing which doesn't depend on this trait of bitachon. And so together, I'm hoping, and the Rav hopes together as well, that we're going to begin this journey in really implementing this in our life and understanding how it works. Thank you very much, and have yourself a great day.